It's the Bell Howard Show. The Liberty Bell rings true and free for you and me. That's right, folks. The Liberty Bell rings true and free for all men, women, children of America. If you like liberty, if you like real libertarian radio, you've come to the right place, folks. Hello, I'm Bell Howard. Welcome to my little libertarian island. If you like freedom, if you like liberty, swim ashore. There's a place on my little island for you. If you don't like liberty, if you don't like freedom, just keep on swimming, pal. And you're sure to meet a technocratic, liberal shark who's going to bleed you dry. I guarantee it. Five 578-275-8888-8888-833-333-3497. Sorry, folks, that's not our phone number. That's just a mild form of Tourette's that I've developed over the years doing this AM radio thing. I mean, many AM radio guys develop it in their later years. But free speech, oh boy, free speech is under attack. Can't say what you want, especially on college campuses where you'd think free speech would be welcome. Oh no, they've got these things called safe spaces. Have you heard of these? The safe space. No, that's not the place under the stairs where I keep the family jewels, where I used to keep the family. Wes, call Vera, tell her to change the place where we keep. Yeah, I know. I got to stop saying on air where we keep the family jewels. It makes her nervous. Anywho, college campuses where there are safe spaces, spaces where college kids can go to feel safe, where they can be protected from offensive language and offensive people. And what that language depends on, of course, what offensive language is depends, of course, on the individual. So on these college campuses, you have all these individuals, and maybe they agree on the offensive language, maybe they don't. But what ends up happening is that you get this archipelago of safe spaces. No man's an island, but apparently every man's a safe space, and woman, and non-binary. Excuse me, kids, and they really are kids. And that's what we're talking about here. Everyone has a thing, Hey, I don't like that he called me black instead of person of color, or where's my safe space? I don't like that he called me a foxy chick, and not. I don't like that he didn't call me by my preferred pronoun, and it goes on and on. Stay out of my circle, pal. And these are the people that want us to come together and hold hands and sing Kumbaya, which isn't a bad song. The lion sleeps tonight. Is that song? Are they the same? No, that's a different one. Anyway, they're both good. I'm just saying we're all so busy demanding what others say to us is polite and policing other people's language that will never come together. So congratulations, hippies. All your communalism, wealth redistribution, and navel-gazing got us to this atomized individual me worship session on the edge of a cliff. If someone sneezes, then we're all falling off the edge, and no more private property and no more enlightenment. Hello, Valley of Death and Mad Max. Where's MySpace? The website, is that still around? No, where's my safe space? I think the word Marxism is offensive. Can I get a safe space too, please? Not on a college campus, you won't. No student commons, classroom, parking lot, or genderless bathroom on an American university where that word isn't spoken. Do college conservatives, the students who wear bow ties and dry hump till they get married, do they get a safe space? Who are we kidding? They're one day away from being rounded up and put on trial and thrown into a gulag with their parents left holding the student debt. If you're a woman, you can be safe from men and men language. And if you're a man, you can, well, you may call yourself a man, but buddy, if you need a safe space, I don't think anyone outside of your little bubble will call you that. If you really were a man, you would man up and forego the safe space and live dangerously. Join a fraternity like I did. Well, almost did. During the hazing, I got pneumonia and I went into a light coma. And then I saw a Hindu Jesus, and I went to Nepal for 3 years. That's a story for a different time. But life is full of twists and turns and challenges, and nothing's going to prepare you for that. A safe space certainly isn't. Anyway, I've been reading this. This article came out in which they had a poll. This article is from, let's see here, Trout and Stream fishing magazine, which recently has been covering more political topics, and they're kind of right-leaning, or that at least that's what the liberal media would have you believe. Trout and Stream, I guess, is a little right-leaning. I don't think so. I think they're pretty fair. Anyway, they published a poll, and it says it's titled "The Truth About Being a Man on Campus." College campuses, quote, college campuses today have more women than men, end quote. Okay, do I even need to continue reading this? I mean, just the first line of this article tells you everything. But anyway, I'll continue. Goes on here, but amongst the men on 3 campuses polled, 80% identified as something other than what is printed on their birth certificate. Are you ready for this? We're going over the cliff here. Of those 80%, 40% identify as women. 15% identify non-binary. Okay, that's like when you're in the middle and no one can tell what you are. It's like that old Saturday Night Live sketch with that lady, and she's wearing the glasses, and she goes, making copies. Making copies. She's sitting by the copy machine. She tells what, everyone's walking by her, and she says, "Oh, that guy's making copies. That girl's." Anyway, it's an old Saturday Night Live sketch, and it goes on here. 10% identify as pure beings of light, and 5% identify as, drumroll please, 5% identify as animals. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for sending me to college. That's what a college education brings you these days. What in God's name? This is our boy Greg. No, Dad, I'm a muskrat, remember? Oh, right. This is my muskrat, Greg. Honestly, people, I mean, we're all free to be whatever we want in life, but an animal? I mean, I don't get it. Honey, I'm going to work. Okay, dear. By the way, I'm a leopard today. What happened? You got tired of being a chair? My wife wouldn't care. I'm a leopard? Okay. She'd probably just go back to her iPad. But, by the way, funny story. I came home late yesterday, and part of the corona world we're living in, we have to decontaminate in the entry hall of the house before we set foot in what is our living room area. So I get in, And I'm in kind of a hurry. I got to decontaminate and get on a Zoom call with my publisher, and I'm shedding my clothes, and we've got this box here, and I'm putting my clothes into the burning box. That's what my wife calls it, the burning box. And I run naked as a Greek through the house to my office on the second floor. From the window, I look out in the backyard, and there's my wife burning the box. She actually burns it in the backyard with my clothes in it. She's not messing around. But I digress. Look, college campuses, safe spaces, how about crazy spaces? Speaking of which, I will be in a virtual talk, giving a talk via Zoom at the Gregory Liberal Arts College in Arcadia, California, hosted by the College Republican. He's a one-man free speech defender. Let me give a shout-out to Russ Binkler, the College Republican. Great work, Russ. We salute you. I wish more young men were like you. Russ sent me a message here. He said, this talk will be invite only, and little Russ will be the moderator. And let me see. It goes on here to say, he said this talk will be invite only. Actually, he also wanted me to mention only he can allow others to join the talk. So this is to stop others with potentially dangerous ideas that threaten his views on freedom and liberty, like Marxism and so forth, and stop people from harassing him and me during the speech. And I applaud that. I think that's a good idea. It says, I will take extra precautions to ensure that no one interrupts this talk for me. And I agree with that. I mean, we should be in a space where we feel comfortable expressing and can be heard without the threat of people around us who inevitably wish us harm. And it's just, well, I guess in that case, this talk will be me and Russ. So just some FaceTime with little Russie at the College Republican. All right. Okay. Big show. Big show today. Peter Jordanson will be talking to us. Speaking of college professors, a man who has had his share of fights with the PC police and also has an interesting take on the war against men and how men can protect themselves and be safe against all the attacks that befall them, especially from the non-binary liberal media and a society careening out of control. One toe length from the edge, and the Mad Max-like valley of communist fascism below. Help us, Professor Jordanson. Hear our cries and deliver us. That's coming up next after the break. Stay tuned. Hey folks, it's your old pal Bell Howard here. You know, being a libertarian means being 100% responsible for yourself and your family. That's why when I leave the house every day, I take two things with me. My phone, in case my wife or agent calls, and my Little Weenies survival sausage. That's right, Little Weenies are the only travel-ready dehydrated sausages out there. Well, maybe not the only ones, but certainly the best tasting. Each sumptuous sausage is dehydrated and sealed in a bag and is ready to go wherever you are. Stick 'em in your purse, your back pocket. I put my weenies in my sock. Then when you're ready to eat them, just sprinkle water on them and watch those flavor-packed weenies come to life. Stuck at your wife's best friend's dinner party? She didn't tell you she was vegan. When the coast is clear, just slip away and wet your weenies. Stuck in a hurricane? Hey, good thing your friend remembered the batteries and you remembered dinner. Oh, wait a minute. What the? Did we just survive a nuclear holocaust? You're no Einstein, but whoever built the bomb is dead. You had the foresight to put some sausages in your sock every time you left the house. Who's the genius now? Little Weenies survival sausages. Don't get stuck without your weenies. Little Weenie survival sausages should only be consumed in extremely dangerous situations. If you find a package of Little Weenie survival sausages already open, notify the authorities. Ask your doctor if Little Weenie survival sausages are right for you. The Bell Howard Show, 888-888-87658. Sorry again, old AM radio guy, Tourette's. That's not our number. Don't call that. Free speech is a battleground, folks. And the government is winning. Can't shout fire in a movie theater, I get it. But you can, and by the way, we'll get to Peter Jordanson in a bit. He's having some, I think Antifa Zoom bombed him. That's when Zoom bomb. That's when someone crashes your Zoom meeting and shows rude pictures of themselves. Probably in their case, they just showed pictures of snowflakes with Che Guevara's face on them. Okay, but we'll get to that. We'll get to Professor Jordanson later. But we got a guy right now who is on the front lines of the free speech movement. His name is Tim Tackleberry right now, and probably later. And he's calling from the UK after being released from a Danish prison. Tim, are you there? Tim?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Tim. Appreciate you taking the time. So tell us, in broad strokes, what happened?
Okay, well, I went to Amsterdam and then I flew in a Danish airplane and now I'm in Reading.
Now that's pretty broad. Why don't we circle back and fill in those gaps a little? What happened in Amsterdam?
Well, I went to several brothels and
No, I mean after that, because we're talking about what happened on the airplane. Why don't we jump forward to that Danish flight, the Danish flight 11?
so I'm in the airplane. And first off, I'm a free sovereign man of God, created in His image, and I'm totally sovereign and freer than what is called free, which is a false freedom under the generic term of democracy. Democracy, as the media tells it, is not really democracy. It's actually a sophisticated system of resource extraction from a servile population.
Okay, that's all good stuff. So what did you actually do on the plane that got everybody so hot and bothered?
Well, I stood up during the flight. I disobeyed the seatbelt sign because I don't like being told what to do. Do you know what I mean? And I shouldn't have to be told. I'm responsible for my own safety. So I needed to stand up and say this, but the way I have to say it is I need to pronounce myself in some way and proclaim my true identity to everyone and let people know who they're dealing with here.
So the seatbelt sign was a red flag to a freedom fighter like yourself. So you had to stand up and say something. What did you say to everybody?
Well, I stood up and I shouted, "I'm the king of clowns."
You're the king of the king.
The king of clowns.
The king of clowns. Uh, yes, okay, and on your Twitter handle too. Yeah, Clown King 86.
Yeah, that's right. Clown King 86.
86, and I'm assuming that's the year you were born in 1986, I guess. I mean, you sound like a young man.
No, well, Actually, I was born in 1786. Uh, I have a, I have lived and been reborn um, many times from a line of clown royalty. Back when I began this cycle of clownery, I was sort of a dauphin. I was the dauphin of clowns. Now I'm
Now you're the king, I guess, of clowns. So what happened when you said that? How did people around you react?
typical sheeple. They reacted with fear. They pointed and made big eyes at me, and then the stewardess came, waving her arms about and saying, "Sir, sit down." And when I stepped into the aisle, she tackled me.
The Danish stewardess tackled you.
Yeah, ironically, the night before in Amsterdam, I paid a lady to dress like a stewardess and tackle me. But you know, this is on an airplane. This lady on the airplane did it for free.
Wow. But you're not, are you wearing clown makeup? I mean, not now, but at that time, did you have like a red nose and floppy shoes?
No, that is a misconception. That is Latin or Roman clownery, and my lineage is British Isles. So mostly I wear a bowler brim hat and fingerless gloves.
Um, so what I'm interested to know is how did you manage to live so long? You're like a vampire.
After I was born in 1786, I received my training. I
Ju- uh, Training juggling, I guess, or are you riding a unicycle?
Yeah, in handkerchief magic, and once I received it and got good grades, as it were, I went into a sort of cryogenic stasis in a sort of jelly-like substance, and I sort of remained in that until I awoken again in the late 70s, 1970s.
Cryogenic stasis. I know what that's like a weekend in Cabo. 13 margaritas later, and I'm in a cryogenic stasis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so. But see, the thing is, I think I've been gravely offended here.
Yeah, I'd say the liberal media establishment really offended you. I mean, they painted you as a loon, and I don't think you're a loon. I think you know you're a pretty upstanding guy. Maybe a model citizen.
I mean, I'm forced to carry around, this is what I don't like, I'm forced to carry around all this paperwork, and I don't like the idea of passports that don't recognise my legal status as King of Clowns. In order to live in this society, I have to be a fictional persona in a little book with a photo instead of my God-given birthright as the earthly representative of the cosmic clown head.
Yeah, that's a bummer. And I don't like being woken up by a burglar in a bungalow in Cabo San Lucas. He took all my pesos in my wallet on the chair. Luckily, I had a safe space in the cabinet under the TV. Sorry, here's my take on the whole thing, and you can tell me if this jives with you or not. But the liberal technocrats that run this world have outlawed fun. I mean, if you want to stand up in an airplane and shout, "I'm the king of clowns," go ahead.
But I am the King of Clowns.
No, 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 I get it, Tim. Live your truth. But what I'm saying is they said to us, "Hey, it's hot. Here's a pool. Go take a dip, buddy." And and we said, "Great." So we climbed the ladder of the diving board, and when we get to the top and look down, instead of seeing a beautiful blue crystalline pool of water, we see the pool's been drained, and all they got at the bottom is a bucket full of pee-pee. Excuse my language.
Yeah, yeah. I think I get the metaphor.
You understand? So like you say, we are just animals told where to go, where to sit, where to stand. I say get rid of everything, all the regulations. You can say what you want. You can stand up where you want. You don't have to wear seatbelts. And by the way, the plane crashes. Seatbelt's not going to save you. Are you kidding me? Anyway, Tim, we got to go. Thanks for the call.
I'm on MySpace, by the way.
Oh, really? They still have that?
Yeah, it's Tim, the rightful king of clowns.
Good to know. Thanks, Tim, so much for the call.
Thanks, love the show, bye.
Isn't that something? Safe spaces for college campuses, but not airplanes. Can't say what you want. Anyway, isn't this America? Or Denmark? Denmark's pretty free, right? Lord have mercy. Well, here we go, folks. We're still waiting. Wes, what's the deal? Professor Jordanson is he still dealing with the Zoom bomb? Oh boy. You know, I tell you.
Hello? Hello?
Wes, who said that? Is that the professor?
Hello? Hello?
Professor Jordanson, are you being Zoom bombed right now?
No,
Let's reconnect. Wes, get him back on the line. Okay. Okay, folks, here is a man who is a very interesting person. He's a very interesting scholar. He's a professor of Jungian psychology at the Manitoba Institute of Large Men. Are we good? Okay. Okay. He's recently written a book called Clean Your Room and Slay Your Dragon. It's Professor Peter Jordanson. How are you, Professor?
Oh, hello. Sorry about the kerfuffle.
Professor, you were just in a Zoom call. That's the software everyone is using now because of the corona scare, and you were bombed by Antifa. What happened? Are you okay?
Well, this is what happens when we treat our children like children, you know. I mean, children are vicious. They're chaotic. And they're striving for order, and we have to give it to them. Because if we don't, they're going to be children for a lot longer than they should. And that's not good for society as a whole, you know. So these kids, these anti-fascists, see me as a toxic authority figure. So they found out about my online lecture at the Institute, and they crashed it online. I was showing a slide of a dragon eating a mermaid and talking about the primordial concept of gender equality and how it was originally devised by the dark satanic energy of the anti-energy that balances the genital or procreative force, you know. And then one of these kids suddenly appeared on everyone's screen, and he took out his ding-dong and he waved it in front of the camera.
Hello. Took out his okay. Oh my goodness. Well, what happened after that? Did the whole thing crash?
Yep, the whole thing shut down. There's really a crisis of manhood in the world, and it's not good, you know. There are men who lack the proper skills to be men, and they don't know how to stand up and face danger.
Well, you don't have to worry about anyone crashing this Zoom call. This is a safe space, Professor. So what do you attribute that to, Professor? Are all these kids just brainwashed by Hollywood liberals?
Well, that's part of it, but we need stories. And some Hollywood can provide us like the most famous story of the cosmic man who sacrifices himself for the good of humanity.
You're, of course, referring to Braveheart. Is that a deeply ingrained myth in our psyche, the story of a man who paints his face and then gets castrated?
Well, my point is men are told by teachers and experts that they're not providers, but instead biological aberrations, and that they need to just wallow in their own sexual frustration and wither and die in order for womankind to flourish.
Oh, uh, Professor, are you there? Professor? Oh, what in the hell? All right, put away your ding-dong, young man. Jeez Louise. Wes, I thought we had a VPN. A safe space where none of these dillweeds can interrupt us.
So the world is drowning in chaos. It's the snake eating its tail. The cosmic mother has given birth to monsters.
Hey, Professor, we're gonna have to reconnect here. We'll call you back on a more secure line and get these yahoos out of here. Honest to Wes, get me a secure connection. All right, you got it? Are you sure? All right. Okay, let's fire it up again. Professor, I'm so sorry. Are you there now?
Well, what's very interesting is the cosmic mother. If we look at
You just kept talking. Professor, let me rewind you back a bit.
and if we look at the beginning of everything there, it had to be a female act of creation. What was once an ordered universe suddenly exploded, and then there was this mess. And that's what women represent, an exploding, pulsing mess, an open wound that won't stop bleeding.
Sounds like my first marriage. People have accused you of misogyny, Professor. Is that founded on anything substantial in your opinion?
I don't know what they mean. Like, I like women. I just haven't found a good use for them yet. I mean, cosmically.
Wes, are we good? I just don't want any that happening again. God help those little toads. If I ever catch them skateboarding at the mall, I'll throw my car in reverse and just.
So it's up to the man to order the chaos, and clean his room.
Hashtag clean your room, bucko. You started that, and here's what I want to ask you about. Everyone is talking about cleaning your room these days. There's an honest-to-God trend here that all started with your book, right?
I tell young men all the time, you definitely should clean your room. For me, it was a revelation. The first time I cleaned my room, I was 23, and I found $13. So there's that. But it's step one into getting your life in order and then taking the subsequent steps to success and eventually confronting your dragon.
And what is the dragon? What does the dragon represent?
It represents the deepest challenge in your life. The thing that will destroy you, not physically, but will stunt your spiritual growth and keep you from being heroic. It's challenging your heroism. For me, that's...
Oh, jeez. Wes, get these ding-dongs off my Zoom meeting.
Wait. I want to address them head on. These boys are my dragons.
Professor, you don't need to engage these dillweeds. I mean, there's no point, really. Are they gone? Wes, give me a VPN with iron doors on it. Jeez Louise, is there no space safe online? You see, this is the effect of the liberal media, combined with liberal education system, combined with Sesame Street. Do you see any brainwashing going on? I know you're from Canada. Are they brainwashing kids like they are down here?
We do, and it's much more pernicious. Canada is far gone. Your liberal media pales in comparison to the reign of terror wrought by the Canadian social worker. They are telling children to decide what gender they are before they're 3 years old. I've spoken out and been a public critic of this, and I've paid for it. I had my point card revoked at IHOP.
I mean, that's just distressing.
Boys are not even three. Not even three have to decide if they are boys, girls, or other.
Well, how do they ask a 3-year-old boy such a... I mean, the concept of gender hasn't really solidified in their little brains, right?
The social worker shows the boy a large card with 3 large pictures on it, and one is a boy with a dress on, and the other is a girl in overalls and a hard hat, and the third, under the category Other, is a picture of a helicopter. So most boys choose the helicopter. Well, once the boy chooses other, or the girl wearing the overalls and hard hat, then they're automatically assigned to gender reassignment surgery.
Hell knows no bounds. Professor, I am boiling hot right now. You've baked me into a large Irish potato. I'm sitting here thinking, how could we get to this kind of insanity? How did we get here?
One bloody step at a time, and it won't stop until men stand up for themselves and clean their rooms.
Peter Jordanson, the book is Clean Your Room and Slay Your Dragon. Professor Jordanson, I'm so sorry about the Zoom bombs.
I'm unfazed, and if I could just speak to their parents, I would say, make them clean their rooms. They might just find more than $13. They might find themselves.
Thank you, and to all you listening, the fight for freedom and gender delineation in this country and in Professor Peterson's Professor Jordanson, excuse me, I got your name kind of mixed up there. Professor Jordanson's country continues, and listen, if you're a girl, don't let anyone tell you you're a boy. And if you're a boy, don't let anyone tell you you're a girl. And parents, for God's sakes, don't let anyone tell you that your 3-year-old boy is a helicopter. And folks, thank you for joining us. That's today's show. Join us next time when the Liberty Bell rings hard, rings true, rings long, and the Liberty Bell rings for thee. I'm Bill Howard. I'll see you next time. Bye now.